Welcome to the Workforce Workshop Podcast, where we teach you how to locate, attract, hire, train, and retain your ideal workforce to grow your business. With years of research, professional experience, and guest interviews, we're empowering business leaders with the information they need to know to build their business. Enjoy today's episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Workforce Workshop. Our topic of discussion today is the 7 ways to improve your hiring processes. Let us start. Hiring the right people is essential to any company, from the front desk staff all the way through the big decision makers. Every employee plays a crucial role in the success of the company. After all, a business is only as good as the people running it. This is why investing in the hiring process and finding ways to improve it among the key ingredients of achieving business growth. In this episode, we will discuss the common roadblocks during the hiring process as well as ways to overcome them. First, let's define the hiring process. The hiring process refers to the procedure of recruiting applicants and finding the right person to fill a certain position. A company internal recruiter under the Human Resource Department is required to execute this task. In some cases, a company may also employ the services of a headhunter to find the right talent that meet the job requirement. A headhunter is an individual or a company that facilitates the recruitment process on behalf of the employer. Like a talent scout who is always on the prowl for the next big star, the headhunter keeps an eye out for potential candidates. As many headhunters work in specialized industries, they usually already have a pool of talent that they can identify as potential hires for the employer. Like an internal recruiter, a headhunter also plays an active role throughout the hiring process, including the initial interview all the way through the job offer. There are 2 ways by which an employer pays its headhunter: contingent recruitment and retained search. Headhunters working on a contingent base only get paid once a candidate accepts the job offer. Everything else they do outside the actual acceptance of the offer, such as time and effort spent on interviewing and pooling and successful applicants, is essentially free. On the other hand, headhunters working for a retainer fee ask for upfront payment. The employer also gives its headhunter the exclusive responsibility of filling a particular position. This means the employer may not outsource the hiring process to another headhunting agency. As a result, retained search tend to involve a more rigorous process, and a headhunter are expected to work more closely with the employer using an agreed methodology throughout the hiring process. On an average, headhunters are expected to provide a short list of at least 3 names to their client prior to the start of the initial interview. So, what's the difference between a headhunter and an internal recruiter? The roles of a headhunter and an internal recruiter often get interchanged given their similar objectives of filling a certain position in a company. But here's what experts say. All headhunters perform the duties of a recruiter, but not all the recruiters do the tasks of a headhunter. To discuss this in further detail, let us dissect the factors where those 2 roles differ. The first main difference between a headhunter and a recruiter is their relationship with the employer or a company. A recruiter is employed by the company and is usually part of the Human Resources Department. On the other hand, a headhunter is commissioned by the employer to find suitable candidates for a job position. Another difference between the 2 roles involves the application process. Often, recruiters locate their potential hires through job posting and work on the applications submitted to them, while headhunters introduce the job to their prospects and pursue professionals who match the skills that they are looking for. Next question is, what are the common difficulties in the hiring process? Let's face it, hiring the right candidate can be just as difficult as getting hired for the right job. There are different factors that influence the hiring process, including the size of the company, the vacant roles and their industries, and to some extent represent market conditions. In the next two sections, we will discuss the common difficulties facing headhunters and recruiters today, as well as ways on how to overcome them. For example, weak employer brand. According to a 2016 study by professional networking site LinkedIn, nearly 8 in 10 applicants take into account a company's brand before applying for a job. Hence, having a good and reputable brand is essential to attracting talents and potential hires. Building a company's brand includes having a clean and consumer-friendly online presence, as well as making sure that your prospects are given a good application experience. Keep in mind, this is an ongoing process and requires consistency. Bad applicant experience. Just as recruiters thoroughly screen and vet their prospects, applicants also assess their potential employer through their experience during the application process. Having a smooth applicant experience is not only essential to your company's branding, but it also plays a key role once an applicant is considering the job offer. Applicants consider poor communication with the recruiter as a reflection of the company's culture, a factor that is likely to deter them from accepting an offer. Unfair recruitment. Recruiters are struggling to ensure that there is equal representation among applicants. This is often caused by the recruiter's personal biases, regardless if they are intentional or not. Committing recruitment biases happens when you make an initial opinion about an applicant based on factors that are irrelevant to the position, such as prospect's hometown, race, religion, and gender. Providing equal opportunities for everyone is not only required by law, but also allows you to find the best person for the job outside the boundaries of stereotypes. Shortage of skilled candidates. The lack of qualified applicants continue to be one of the biggest hurdles in the recruitment process. According to a survey conducted by UK-based human resource consultancy Expert HR, a whopping 95% of employers that had experienced struggles with their recruitment process identified that the shortage of skilled candidates as their biggest challenge. Meanwhile, HR services provider Randstad cited 3 areas where applicants perform poorly. These are relevant job experience, industry knowledge, and soft skills and work ethic as well. Engaging qualified prospects. Recruiters also lament difficulties related to engaging qualified candidates, especially those with specialized skills, since candidates may receive multiple offers from different recruiters and headhunters. Making your offer stand out becomes even more challenging. Lack of data-driven approach. Recruiters who do not take advantage of data and analytics are missing a wealth of information that can give them an edge against their competitors and allow them to hire the best applicants. Dealing with data and metrics can also get overwhelming. The process should be streamlined and error-free for you and be able to capture and analyze trends relevant to your recruitment. Here are some tips you may want to follow when hiring. You may already have established hiring process, but given challenging market conditions, competition, and the ever-evolving technology, you still have to make room for improvements. Hiring employees is not always one-size-fits-all process, and tweaking your protocols whenever needed may be necessary so you can attract the cream of the crop. Some suggestions that you can adopt to improve your hiring process. First, establish a strong brand. Based on studies, both active and passive job seekers are more motivated to respond to a job post if their prospective employer has positive branding. Building a reputable brand puts your whole PR team at work. This involves parading your awards and recognitions and making your presence felt on different platforms. You also have to guarantee a good candidate experience as part of your branding. This means communicating in a timely manner with your applicants as well as being transparent about the hiring process. Additionally, branding calls for social listening, which refers to the monitoring of different social media sites for any mention of your company, competitors, products, and services. Keep an eye out for company reviews, as applicants are likely to search about what other employers have to say about their prospective employer before signing a job offer. You can ask your present employees to write solid reviews on sites such as Glassdoor as part of your brand building. Second, embrace LinkedIn and other social media sites. The competition for the right candidates is no longer limited to the job advancement sites, no matter how popular they are. As the recruitment landscape evolves, so do the methods by which to scout for talents. To improve your hiring process, you must maximize the availability of social media sites when looking for your prospects. LinkedIn, a social media network site dedicated to professionals, is a great platform to tap applicants. As of writing, the site has about 756 million members, opening up for greater recruitment opportunities in a cost and efficient manner. There are two ways to recruit through LinkedIn: LinkedIn Recruiter and LinkedIn Talent Hub. The former is an outbound approach that lets you find and get in touch with and manage your prospective applicants, while the latter is an inbound method that uses an applicant tracking system to hire and outsource. LinkedIn Recruiter requires a certain fee before you can get access to LinkedIn profiles, regardless if you are connected with them or not. This also gives you a limited number of emails so you can personally get in touch with your prospects. Other social media sites such as Facebook can also be useful to your hiring process. Third, write a clear but catchy job description. Another way to improve your hiring process is by writing a clear and catchy job description. A study by Americans and Canadian researchers found that job ads that only tell applicants what the company wants them to do tend to alienate potential hires. Prospects also need to learn what is in it for them, as well what the company can offer once they get hired for a position. But how do you write a clear and catchy job description? First, the title must be specific. Forget about adding vague words such as a rock star or a ninja. Unless you are still advertising on Craigslist, your job title should be a commonly used term that adheres to industry standard language. You want your job advertisement to be found by your prospective hires, so using terminologies that only you or your company understand may not do the trick. Another way to craft better job descriptions and improve the hiring process is by writing an engaging summary of the job. You can start by explaining how your company's products and services fill the gaps and contribute to society. While bullet points can be helpful in making your ad more concise and readable, you can add a bit of flair, briefly discussing how the tasks can add to the overall growth of the company. This way, the applicants can feel more included and excited about the job. Fourth, boost efficiency. You will be surprised how the efficiency of the company's hiring process largely depends on things that tend to get overlooked. For example, traditional companies often think hiring is task exclusive to HR, when in fact it has now become a collaboration with IT department. To improve recruitment efficiency, it is important to invest in applicant tracking system ATS that helps screen applicants through specific questions, and we have a full episode about ATS systems. Having this automation will allow the recruiter to weed out qualified candidates as well as manage hundreds of resumes without taking too much time. Pre-employment software will also enable you to screen candidates based on measurable data and skills while reducing the possibility of committing unconscious bias. Aside from using AI-based systems, recruiters can screen the applicants through an initial phone interview to know how they will be moving forward for the next steps. Most importantly, the recruiter must establish a solid interview process to better assess the qualifications of an applicant. There is an ongoing debate on how to improve the interview process, but much of it largely depends on the structuring of the questions. Google and other tech companies are known for their rigorous interview process that includes 30 to 60-minute phone screen and 4 to 9 rounds of next-level interviews. These next-level interviews are either done through a panel or on a one-on-one basis and use standardized questions where each is scored on a rubric. Technical roles, however, require applicants to perform whiteboard or coding solutions. The key here is to ask general questions with the aim of uncovering the surface level of the applicant while drilling down or more specific questions that relate to the post. Lastly, enhance talent sourcing. Boosting talent acquisition can be executed by building an internal mobility program. Oftentimes, the best talents are the ones you already have, as you no longer have to spend much on training and onboarding. Internal mobility is a great opportunity not only to motivate your existing employees, but also to reskill, fill gaps between departments, and collaborate. Additionally, you can lure potential talents through a referral program as well. There are studies showing that referred candidates tend to perform better on a job and adapt to the company culture faster than non-referred ones. Aside from incentivizing employees for every successful referral, you can also introduce a sign-up bonus to attract candidates. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. In the next one, we will discuss the challenges of staffing. Links to everything will be in the link below. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. It will notify you about the new content that we share with you every week. This will help us to produce great content for our professional audience. Let us know if there is something you would like us to discuss in future episodes. Please click the link in the show notes and you can submit your questions directly to me. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Workforce Workshop podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Links to everything discussed will be in the description. To contact us, click the link in the show notes and you could submit your questions or share your story. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.